Hello, my name is Kyle Trantham, and welcome to the first episode of Still Smoking Tape. So, I figured why not start off with the SEC outlook for this upcoming season. We have 40 days as of today, July 13th, 2026, until college football season begins. So, I figured we'd start with the SEC. We're going to try to go through, start with the SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12. Just like that, and it's gonna be different episodes. I'm gonna try to split them up, but I figured since we have six brand new head coaches in the SEC, I figured I'd start with them. Just go through the expectations, what I have them going, if I believe in them, if I don't believe in them, if I'm buying stock, if I'm selling stock, and obviously all these guys are brand new and they come from different situations, so we'll see what it looks like. Start out here, we got Pete Golding taking over the head coach responsibility at Ole Miss. He's a defensive-minded coach. He's not necessarily got the greatest resume. He's under Nick Saban, for a while. He runs a 3-4 and a 4-2-5 defense mainly. Kind of basic, but he kind of centered it around his defensive linemen. He had great defensive linemen last year, led to like their huge success, obviously going to the playoffs and everything. And then on offense, they brought in some offensive staff from ECU. And then also they brought in a couple of different people from NFL and stuff like that. But the ECU offensive staff, they run a veer and shoot, ultra fast run first offense, which in my opinion might work out because they have Kawan Lacey. I mean, he's disgusting. And at ECU last year, they were the best money down team in the American. I mean, third down, you want that guy calling your plays. So, I mean, to me, seems like a great start, especially for him, just because he's a defensive coach. He needs to find a play caller early if he wants to have success at Ole Miss, in my opinion. To start the year, I have him ranked seventh in the SEC. It's a little tough for me because they obviously have a lot of roster turnover, a lot of switching back and forth from players going to LSU, leaving LSU, everything like that. But they do return a lot of their production from last year. Kawan Lacey, Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, those are guys who were the offense last year. I mean, those guys stepped up big, and like what I like to think is probably the game of the season last year in the playoff against Georgia. Great win for them. Great game, honestly. They do bring in a pretty great freshman class, I'd say. 10th ranked freshman class in the SEC. They do bring in a kid I really like, Chase Matthews. Guy's a monster. Watch the tape, man. I expect he'll have an immediate impact. Immediate. They do also bring in the second best transfer portal class in the SEC, which is really good, obviously. I mean, the SEC's recently been a transfer heavy system. I feel like for a lot of teams in the SEC, but I mean, obviously you have a little bit of stuff going on with Clemson and them, the alleged tampering and everything with Luke Farrelly, who's the ACC Defensive Player of the Year last year at California. He enrolled in classes. He's going to Clemson in class. Pete Golden sends him a text. Him in $2 million, 2 years. Sign it. Jackson Dart supposedly texted him or something. I mean, that's ridiculous, but whatever. It happened and whatever. He's an All-American as a freshman. I expect he'll be the defensive guy for them this year at linebacker. They lost a couple linebackers to the portal, but I think he comes in and he's immediate impact, immediately making a change for them on defense. As far as record goes, I think they have a pretty respectable season in Pete Golden's first year. I don't know about playoffs, but 9-3, most likely in my opinion. I think they have really tough games, but they do get two of their toughest games are against or at home. I mean, in Oxford, and that's LSU and it's Georgia. So I mean, those are if you're Pete Gold and you're circling those two games, those are must win games. I mean, you're at home. I mean, obviously you want to win the LSU game for a multitude of reasons, but the Georgia game, that right there is a statement win. You beat Kirby Smart, whether it's in Oxford or between the hedges. That's a statement win for you for sure. First year, it's a great win, great win. I do think they have a ceiling of 11-1. Um, I think a floor of probably 7-5 is fair. They're just immensely talented as an SEC team. I mean, unless something goes wrong with Trinidad or Kawan Lacey, or the defense just doesn't mesh, or I mean, there's no real telling. I mean, the SEC is always unpredictable every year. I mean, look at last year. LSU sucked. DJ Lagway was one of the worst quarterbacks we've ever seen. I mean, it it's year to year. It's hard to predict for sure. But yeah, that's it for Pete Golding. Now I'm going to Alex Golesh. I'm a big Alex Golesh person. I personally know from his time at Tennessee, he led that insane 2022 offense at Tennessee, calling plays. Got Jalen Hyatt the Bilikatoff Award. I mean, that was an ultra crazy offense for the SEC. I mean, they killed LSU and LSU that year. Never forget it. Crazy game, but I mean, I think he's a really good coach, offensive minded. And the other thing is, he's offensive minded, but I think at USF, he really showed that he can be a head coach. Because if he couldn't be a head coach and he was just a play caller, then I don't think he turns around USF the way he turned USF around, in my opinion. I mean, that's the way I think about it. It's the way I look at it. I don't. Some guys are meant to be coordinators. Some guys are meant to be play callers. I don't think Alex Golesh really fits the model of just a play caller. I really don't. I think he's a leader. I think that's why he got the job. Um, so he retained DJ Durkin, which is huge. You ask an Auburn fan, they'll tell you DJ Durkin. He's been the driving force behind multiple stellar defenses for them, and not just for them, but in his entire career. I mean, he's really been one of the best defensive coordinators. And a lot of people, when they hired Golesh, thought DJ Durkin's gone. He's 100% gone, and somehow Golesh retains him, and they're going on. I mean, that's huge for them, in my opinion. I mean, I have them ranked at 10th in the SEC preseason, just because there was a lot of roster turnover, portal, and everything like that. They obviously lost Cam Coleman, which huge blow. In some people's eyes, huge blow. In my eyes, with the way college football is, wide receivers are important. Don't get me wrong, but it's more about your scheme, and it's more about the players that you have in your scheme. And that's why Auburn had Cam Coleman last year, but you don't have the right person calling plays, then it doesn't matter. And I'm not saying Sark won't use him well at Texas or anything like that. And it's still I mean, he's still a talented player, great player. But I don't imagine he's that big of a loss, especially with how many guys, wide receiver wise, they bring in from USF. I mean, guys who already know the offense, guys who already know Byron Brown, who are going to mesh well together immediately, hopefully. Um, I think it'll be a good season for them, honestly. Um, they have a little bit of returning production, not a whole lot, and their team talent composition not great. It's a little below average for the SEC, but the SEC is obviously the most talented. Well, them and the Big Ten, two most talented conferences, so it's not crazy to. I mean, if you're below average in the SEC talent composition wise, you're in the 90th percentile of talent composition compared to the rest of the world. I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, and then they have a bottom three freshman class. I'm sure that's partially Golish's fault, but also, I mean, it's just tough the way they have guys leaving now. I mean, it's the only reason I think Lane Kiffin even has a somewhat decent class at LSU, for example, is that he left in the middle of the season because of the way the schedule is in college football, which is awful. That's a whole segment in and of itself. But the way the schedule is, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, it sucks. That's the way it is, but it is. They do bring in the fourth best transfer class, which is huge. Obviously, a lot of guys from USF. There's um, a couple guys I saw on 247 that are like 4 stars, and 4 stars, high 3 stars from Power Four conferences, which is usually a good sign. And a couple young guys too. That's all there was. There was 2 4 stars. I can't remember their names right now, but there's 2 4 stars who were really good. And they were younger. I think one was a junior and one was a sophomore, which is definitely what you want if you're an Auburn fan. You want to start bringing in the young people, especially because you don't know how Alex Golesh's first season is going to go. You want something to look forward to. You know what I mean? It's the same way every year with guys bringing in highly touted recruits. That's the reason. You kind of buy your time a little bit as a head coach. The better you recruit and the more you have things to look forward to. That's how it is. Um, I expect guys. I mean, obviously Byron Brown. Everybody's been talking about his throwing motion and everything like that. I mean, the kid's a playmaker. I mean, at USF, he. I mean, I watched him personally make entire defenses look stupid in the American. Obviously, the SEC. I mean, that's the premier college football conference in my opinion, especially defensive wise. So, the jump from the American in the G5 level to the Power 4 level and SEC level is gonna be different for him. He's not gonna be able to use his legs as much. I mean, he's still be able to use his legs, but not nearly as much as he was at USF at all, in my opinion. Um, but I mean, we'll see. I expect guys like him and then Nakai Davenport. I watched the film on Nakai Davenport. I think he's one of those make or break guys this year. We'll see how it goes, but I liked his tape a lot whenever I was looking through their portal class. Um, as far as record goes, I got him finishing 8-4, which some people are gonna say, "Oh, that's crazy, man." I mean, dude, I know it's Auburn. I mean, they historically don't have the greatest track record, but I will say I do believe in Alex Golis more than I believe in a lot of the other guys, first year head coaches, in my opinion. Um, they do have a couple swing games. That's kind of where I'm. They got a tough midseason stretch and have like pretty much all those games and a couple other games are swing games. They start the year playing Baylor, and that's a tough game. I mean, no one knows what DJ Lag was going to look like at Baylor. You got a hungry, hungry staff over there. Dave Aranda should have been fired last year. Only reason he's not fired is because the AD got fired. If the AD doesn't get fired, gone. Baylor's got a whole new staff coming in. So I mean, the back's against the wall for Baylor. It's tough game to start, but it is what it is. He's Auburn. It's Auburn. It's Alex Golesh. You gotta win, especially Baylor. I mean, if Baylor comes out there, keeps it close, loses by a touchdown, that staff might see it as a win, genuinely. Auburn, on the other hand, they lose that game by a touchdown, and you still got to play Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, Georgia. I mean, you need that win, especially if you. I think they're gonna get the win, but you need that win, 100%. Um, the midseason stretch is tough. It's Tennessee, and then a bye week, and then Georgia, and then LSU, and then Ole Miss, and that's just tough. I mean, tough, tough, tough. I think at worst they do. I think at worst they finish 6-6, and that's with me assuming they beat Baylor. I think Alex Gold's first game at Auburn, if he loses that game, he loses a lot of credit with the fan base. But I think he pulls it out. I mean, I like Baylor this year. I think Baylor's going to be a good team. Don't get me wrong. But first game of the year, I mean, in my opinion, that's an identity game. That's if I'm Alex Golesh, I'm teaching my kids, or I'm telling my kids, it's gonna be an identity game. You're gonna come out and you're gonna have to prove to them that you guys have an identity. I mean, you got a lot of portal guys, a lot of guys who don't believe in that team. Team talent composition is probably a little bit better than Baylor's. Not nothing special, but they can win the game. Ceiling 10-2. If Alex Gold surprises everyone this year and goes 10-2, I mean he's the coach of the year. I mean 1 year. I mean 1 year. I mean he rebuilt the entire program at USF in 3 years. He comes into an SEC school in 1 year. He's there. That's impressive. Now on to Lane Kiffin. Yeah. So everybody knows he's running the pro spread vertical attack offense. So him and Charlie Weiss kind of came up with it. I've personally witnessed it. I mean, Jackson Dart thrived in it. Um, I'm pretty much everybody thought Austin Simmons was gonna go crazy. And honestly, I mean, I personally thought so. Then all of a sudden, Trinidad Chandler just comes out of nowhere. Defense, they retained Blake Baker. Huge. And as an LSU fan, I already know high pressure 4-2-5. Going to put a lot of pressure on the DBs, the safeties. I do like a couple of the guys we got. We got PJ Woodland, huge fan of him. And then also we got Ty Benefield. Guy's a dog, and I have to watch the tape on that guy, man. He's ridiculous. He did bring a lot of the staff with him from Ole Miss, which good and bad. I mean, it could go either way. I mean, it could become an advantage. It could become one of those things where they start the year bad. People are saying, "Oh, this will." I don't know. I'm kind of neutral on it. I don't. He could hire people from the NFL, and I wouldn't have cared. I mean, it's in my opinion, it's Lane Kiffin. It's his responsibility. He's got a lot. He's got an immense amount of pressure on him. He has more pressure on him, in my opinion, than any of these first year head coaches. Not even close. Not even close. Lane Kiffin. I mean, getting paid what he's getting paid, and to have the financial investment he has in this team, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something for sure. Um, they have the number one transfer class in the nation. That's a huge spot right there. I mean, three 5 stars, all. I mean, huge pickups. And you ask anybody, I feel like. I mean, you got Jordan Seaton, Sam Levitt, Princewell. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name, but defensive end from Ole Miss, stud from what I've seen. Sixth best freshman class, 2 5 stars, Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson, who, I mean, those are Louisiana guys. They could come in and make an immediate impact for sure. I think they have. I think that freshman class has the potential to be the eventual starting place for Lane Kiffin starting a dynasty in Louisiana. That's really that's where I'm at on it. And that it might be biased, you can say, but I do think that this class that we just brought in, to be able to retain those guys, even with all the turnover with the coaches and everything like that, that's huge. I mean, guys want to play for the school. They don't want to play for the coach. Those guys from Louisiana, they dream about playing there. That's why it's such a big That's why it's a lot of pressure on Kevin. There's people playing for the brand. There's not people playing for him. At Ole Miss, kids were playing for him. No offense to Ole Miss, kids were playing for him. I mean, a lot of Mississippi guys would still come play at LSU. I mean, until he got there, and they were for a long time the mid tier of the SEC. I mean, they had their moments. They had obviously some crazy moments back in the early 2010s, but I mean, overall, until he rebuilt that program, got him to the playoffs. I mean, he introduced modern Ole Miss, so I feel like that class could be huge for him. Blake Baker coming back, he took an interview, I think, for the Tulane job after Summerall left. I think it's huge getting him back. I mean, I think it's the equivalent of Alex Scholes bringing back DJ Durkin. I mean, Blake Baker is a Louisiana guy. He was widely regarded as the best assistant we had, 100%. I don't. I think he was the only bright spot of the entire Brian Kelly area, Brian Kelly era, and that's because he was the only one who got better through the years. Like, you look at the first year, he was calling defensive plays and schemes and everything like that, and it just wasn't great. A running quarterbacks killed us. I mean, they still have the opportunity to kill us with the defense we run, but it's he's the only one who showed improvement. And I mean, he's got some dogs on his side. I mean, he's got the Weeks brothers. Like I said, Ty Benefield. He just got that Princewell guy, defensive end. I think he's going to be great. I mean, it's going to come down, in my opinion, to how that defense plays, because I do trust Lane Kiffin's offense. And I do trust Sam Levitt, and I do trust the quarterback room. I really do. We'll see how that goes, but I have them ranked fourth in the SEC. Just purely, really, I mean, trying not to be, I'm doing my best not to be biased here, but truly based on the team talent composition, which is one of the best in the SEC. I mean, it's, like I said, 3 5 stars just from the transfer class, 2 from the recruiting class, a lot of 4 stars. I mean, an immensely talented team. I mean, it's an expensive team. It's upwards of $40 million in NIL. I mean, they got a lot of pressure on them. It's compete or nothing this year. I mean, really, honestly, like, his expectation is sit in playoffs. I mean, that's, if it's not the playoffs, then it's not going to be regarded as a successful season, in my opinion, by an LSU fan, especially after what we went through last year. I mean, that was brutal. I mean, if he comes in and immediately turns it around, then that's one thing, but it's a lot of pressure. I have him going 11-1. It's just because I do think the team talent composite of it is just, it's going to probably make a difference. I think us, as in LSU, Georgia, Texas, 3 most talented teams in the SEC. Not like there's a huge difference between those 3 teams, and I know Georgia's team talent overall definitely took like a hit from last season, and it seems to be doing that every year, but I do think that LSU, Texas, Georgia, maybe A&M. A&M's a little younger, on the younger side, but I think those are the four best or four most talented teams in the SEC this year, roster wise. I will say they do have a pretty manageable schedule. I think at worst they finish 8-4. But this is the thing: they get a lot of their best games, or a lot of their toughest games, I should say, at night, and most likely in Death Valley, most likely at night. I mean, you got Clemson, Death Valley at night. Already looking forward to that game. Texas A&M. That's gonna be a tough one. That's Texas is at home. Alabama's at home. So I mean, you got the Texas A&M game for me. Tough game to preview just because of Marcel Reed. I mean, he's a playmaker, and I saw what he did to us last season. I mean, he's a playmaker. But the fact that we get Alabama and Texas at home, I think that contributes a lot to them going 11-1. And the floor is 8-4. I mean, there's a lot of games like there's no reason they should lose the Clemson game at home. There's no reason they should lose any other real games except for those four, maybe. I mean, those are the games I can see them losing. I mean, they could go undefeated. It's hard to go undefeated in a 9-game SEC conference schedule. Extremely hard to go undefeated, in my opinion. Extremely hard. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, you look at every game in the SEC this year, and you look at it long enough, you think it's a toss-up. I mean, that's just how even the SEC is. I mean, it's deep. There's so much depth everywhere. We'll see how it goes though. Next is Will Stein. Big Will Stein fan. He runs like a gas tempo spread. It's go as fast as possible. That's what it means. So he's going as fast as possible, super high tempo. I mean, he's going to. It's gonna be all him. I mean, it's gonna be all on Kenny Minchey. He's their quarterback, transfer from Notre Dame. Never got a shot because of C.J. Carr winning the battle over there. But I mean, for a long time, that was an even battle. I mean, a lot of people thought Kenny Minchey was just gonna stay because he thought he could beat C.J. Carr, but I think him following Will Stein, who has a great track record when it comes to quarterbacks, great. That's a great fit, great idea. And it's all gonna be on him. He's gonna control the pace of the offense. I like quarterbacks that can do that. And they also like with Kenny Minchey, I think it'll be a good bit of RPO, kind of like a safety net RPO, as in like when the offense isn't rolling as smooth, you don't have a lot of momentum. You're on the road. RPO, if Kenny Minchey can get it down in practice by the end of fall camp, spring camp, everything like that, I feel like if he can get that down and he can control it, then he'll be fine. I do think that just because I watched it work at Oregon, and obviously a lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, Oregon this, Oregon this." I mean, they got blown out last year. I mean, let's be honest, he was checked out for that game. I mean, if I take another head coach job, I'm checked out for that game. And some people will say, no, he was still doing no. He was checked out, 100%. You don't get beat that bad, and you're not checked out, which just sucks for Oregon fans. I mean, that's terrible. I mean, the way the schedule works, man, it's all the schedule. It's NCAA's got to step in and fix that. Somebody's got to fix it. But his defense, he brings in Jay Bateman from Texas A&M, so probably multi-front, super aggressive, probably a 3-4 base, maybe 4-2-5 base, depending on his personnel and like what the other team's showing. Matchup to matchup, I don't know. I think it'll be a good defense. It should be a good defense. I like Jay Bateman a lot from Texas A&M. Now, as far as what he brings in offensive coordinator wise, Joe Sloan, who is not for lucky for Kentucky fans, he's not the running game coordinator. So notoriously, he's not great at running the ball, Joe Sloan. But he's not the running game coordinator. So I don't really know exactly what role he'll have in that kind of decision making. But as long as he's not controlling the run game, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's truly it doesn't matter. I mean, as someone who has personally experienced Joe Sloan, I think it'll be all right. And I do think that Will Stein being there is a huge plus. Huge plus. But he did bring a lot of supplemental staff from Oregon, and he also brought some staff from UTSA, which which is interesting because he started his coaching career there, I believe. And I think it's interesting he went all the way back there and grabbed some people from his roots. You know what I mean? That's kind of cool to me. You know, he's 3 seasons calling plays at Oregon, and then he just brings guys from the people that he started with. In my opinion, that's cool. I mean, you want guys like that on your staff, guys you trust, guys you've been with, guys you know a long time, guys who know your family. I mean, that's a good decision in my opinion by Will Stein. I think he's one of those coaches where he doesn't have a whole lot of expectations for the season. Honestly, I mean, Kentucky kind of surprised people when they fired the coach from last year, but to me, it wasn't all that surprising. I mean, you got to look at the way it had been playing out for the last few years. I mean, it's just not great. I mean, they're in games sometimes. They're close, but that's not you don't want that when you. I mean, Will Stein to Kentucky probably looked like a brand new Ferrari. I mean, 100%. I mean, why not pull the trigger on that? So I mean, I can 100% understand it. Um, fifth best transfer class in the SEC. That's huge. Obviously, guys, Kenny Minchie and a couple other guys, really good, really, really, really good. And then he also brings in the 15th best. Oh no, sorry. He doesn't bring in a big freshman class in his first season, which it's kind of common with newer head coaches. I mean, there's no reason. There's not a lot of time. That's the problem with the schedule. There's not a lot of time for that stuff. So I completely understand that. But he brings in Kenny Minchie, Jordan Castell. Those will be the guys. Those will be the guys on the other side of the ball. Kenny Minchie offense, Jordan Castell defense. Those will be the guys that end up making it or breaking it, in my opinion. That'll be how it goes. Um, I feel like Kenny Minchie, who I mean, Stein said it himself. That was his top priority whenever he took the job at Kentucky. Was getting Kenny Minchie, and I think it'll be a good thing. I think it'll work out, and I think that's one of those things where you gotta trust the coach more than you trust the player. A lot of you guys have never seen Kenny Minchie play football. A lot of you guys have never watched his tape, watched his high school tape or anything like that. But I do think that it will work out purely because of Will Stein. We'll see though. I have them ranked 15th in the SEC to start the season just because talent's not really fully there. I mean, I think Kenny Minchie's immensely talented, but the guys surrounding him, not the most talented, honestly. Honestly, though, I mean, they might have some gems in there that no one really even knows about. Some guys who just kind of flew under the radar. Um, and they did get a favorable 9-team draw when it comes to SEC conference play. Like it's could be 100% worse in my opinion. I mean, that's why like Vegas has them at 4.5 win total right now. Smash the over in my opinion. Smash it. I mean, me personally, Kenny Minchie's top 10 to 12 quarterback in the SEC. So, I mean, it's really just about the guys surrounding him, and I think 5 wins is kind of insane. I mean, that requires him to win, 3 SEC games, maybe? Maybe. It might be even 2. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I have them finishing at 5-7, ceiling of 7-5, and a floor of 3-9. I do think, though, they do have a very interesting game. Second game of the season, Will Stein gets Alabama in Lexington. That to me, that jumps out on a piece of paper, and it's like, hey, we saw what Alabama started the way Alabama started the year off last year. They got a new quarterback, Keelan Russell. So you're telling me Alabama, who lost last year to a terrible Florida State team, to start the season in Florida State, so on the road. They didn't even look like an SEC team. They didn't even look like it barely looked like a football team. It was terrible. They have a new quarterback who, in my opinion, probably better than Ty Simpson, but I will say he's a new quarterback. So what can you expect from him? Kenny Minchie's also a new quarterback. But he's playing at home. And I feel like Will Stein's going to be hungry for a win. And that would be a huge upset. I mean, if they get that upset, DeBoer's, they're going to be calling for DeBoer's head. I mean, immediately. And Will Stein's going to be a hero in Lexington for the rest of the season, no matter the way the rest of the season even pans out. I mean, if you beat Alabama in your first SEC game ever. I mean, Will Stein's job security is he's got 2 or 3 seasons where he's safe. I mean, that's just the level that it's at. I mean, it really is. Um, Next, we're gonna go to John Summerall. It's an interesting hire in my opinion. I do think he's a good coach. I think it's a lot. It's definitely an upgrade from Billy Napier, 100%. But I don't think he's a terrible coach or anything. I think that he's one of those guys where he needs supplemental staff around him to really get to his highest potential. And I think Florida fans know that. I think Florida boosters, Florida people, ADs and stuff, they were telling him, like, all you gotta do is hire a play caller, dude. You save your job, you hire a play caller. That's all it is. But I mean, he went down with the ship. You gotta respect it a little bit. I mean, it's him or nothing. But I will say he took a new job, James Madison. I think he hired a play caller, so I think he learned from mistakes there. But John Summerall, expect a multi-tempo pro spread offense. And I like that it's multi-tempo because I do think Aaron Philo, he's a projected starter. I do think it'll be interesting how it goes because if he's controlling the tempo and the pace of the game, and they're kind of like one of those possession teams, if you know what I mean, where they're kind of holding the ball, maybe not even doing a whole lot with it, maybe getting 2 first downs, punting it, or something like that. I think they control a game a lot better. I think John Summerall was pretty solid at that, pretty much everywhere he's been, but especially at Tulane. Um, so I mean, we'll see how it goes. Defensive wise, I think they should do a base 3-4 if it checks out the way the staff that he hired. The research that I did, it was basically a base 3-4 is what it probably will be. I could definitely see them running something else like maybe a 4-2-5, but 3-4 probably makes the most sense. And with the staff that he hired, it'll be turnover driven. I mean, they're going to be one to turn the ball over, and I think that goes back to them being a possession team, where hey, they got the talent, and I think they're a sleeping giant. I think they got the talent, they got the fan base, they got everything they need. But it's just about can you really control a game, and I think that's what John Summerall does best, honestly. And so turnover-driven defense, possession offense, that can lead to wins 100%. He's a very defensive coach. This is his third stint as a head coach. And obviously, like I said, historical powerhouse in my opinion. I mean, you think Florida. I mean, immediately you think Tebow. You think national championship. You think Urban Meyer. I mean, sleeping giant. I mean, he comes in with, I would say, high expectations, but not nearly as high as Lane Kiffin or even for that instance Pete Golding. I mean, he just doesn't. I mean, it's his first year, and I know it's those other guys' first year too, but it's a little bit different, I think, for him. He turned Troy around in about 2 seasons, and then he dominated in the American with Tulane, went to the playoff last year, which is a whole problem in and of itself. But I will say it's impressive. It's impressive what he did at Tulane. Obviously didn't end the way they wanted it to, but it's whatever. He's bringing in Buster Faulkner from Georgia Tech, top 15 offense last year at Georgia Tech. And I do think Georgia Tech's head coach definitely knows what he's doing when he's hiring guys. So I think this hire is a good hire. And I think Aaron Philo follows him from Georgia Tech. Kind of stuff like that. It's a little bit like you kind of got to look at it from both angles. You kind of got to look at it like, okay, maybe they just like each other a lot. They just like the way they call the plays or the plays they call or the relationship that they have. And you kind of look at it like, man, maybe he just wanted a starting spot, and maybe he doesn't actually deserve one. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I mean, obviously he sat behind Haynes King last year. I mean, that guy was pretty good. I mean, obviously he went undrafted to the league, but that guy was pretty good in college. I mean, to be honest with you, but obviously not the season they wanted to have last year. I mean, it was still a solid season, but just it always seems like middle of the year you look at their team, they just never end up what they think what they look like middle of the season. But anyway, back to Florida. Um, so he brought in Buster Faulkner, and then he brought in Brad White from Kentucky. So definitely a linebacker focus with Brad White. It's a linebacker focus 3-4, and I think Summerall is probably gonna make some slight schematic changes to that. I mean, not anything huge, but he'll definitely make some small changes to it. I'd say at least. It kind of mixes if it's linebacker central. It's kind of a mix of Summerall and White kind of together. And Kentucky didn't. I don't think Kentucky had a bad. They didn't have a terrible defense last year. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't awful either. I believe I think it was Texas. I think it was Texas last season. They held to like what 16 points or something like that. I don't think they lost, but they held Texas to like 16. I think it'll be an interesting year. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but on the defensive side of the ball, that's the side of the ball that I worry about less with them. I mean, I worry more about the offense, and I worry about Philo, and I don't necessarily worry about Buster Faulkner, but they're gonna have to find a guy to be able to run that offense, and whether that's Philo or not, we'll see. But I do think they're going to be one of the better teams in the SEC, even in his first season, honestly. Um, I have them ranked eighth in the SEC to start the year. They have an extremely talented roster. I mean, a lot of turnover, obviously, but extremely talented roster. I mean, when you look at their talent, you think that they're above average in the SEC talent wise. They are. I mean, you look at it, you look at recruits, you look at everything like that, and there's no excuses. You look at their talent, there's no excuses. That's honestly what it is. And I mean, I think Billy Napier kind of went through the same thing. They brought back Jaden Ball. I mean, Jaden Ball is a dog. I mean, he is really good. So bringing him back is huge. They didn't only bring in the 13th ranked transfer portal class in the SEC, but they bring in the ninth best freshman class in the SEC. So what you don't get in the portal, you get in the like just a regular freshman class. So I don't know. I like it. I like them. It kind of seems more future driven, like kind of building for the future. But I don't see why they can't come out and just surprise people this year and just play good and just hold the possession of the ball, turn over the other team, and win games. I don't. They do have a tough schedule. I mean, it seems like Florida always has like the toughest schedule in the SEC. It's funny how it plays out like that, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think Aaron Philo, Eric Singleton Jr., probably the driving force of the offense this year. I think they have the potential to be SEC championship contenders, honestly. I mean, it probably sounds like I'm overstating all the teams that I'm talking about right now, but I do think that they have the potential. And I think the way the SEC is like, I don't think there's a whole lot that separates some of these guys, or some of these teams, I should say, from the other ones. And we'll see how it goes, but the freshman class they're bringing in has 9 4 stars. It's pretty solid. All those guys can have an impact immediately. We have no idea what those guys look like. We have no ideas if those. We have no idea if those guys should be 5 stars, and we have no idea what kind of role they're going to fit into on our team. I mean, we'll see what it looks like. But I have them going 6-6 this year, just with how rough their schedule is. Their schedule's tough, man. But I think it's a lot of swing games. Like they could be 10-2 at the end of the year, and it wouldn't surprise me a bit. That's where I have their ceiling as floor 3-9. That would be a disappointing season, 100%. First year of John Summerall, but I think they have an opportunity. They have a couple opportunities to get signature wins in his first year. Like you look at it, and you got Florida Georgia, like you get every year. That's a huge game, huge game. If he wins that game, that's huge. I mean, in my opinion, that game carries a lot of significance for a multitude of different reasons. But I do think that he has other opportunities on his schedule. Like he has Texas on the road. That would be a crazy game if they walk in there and win. But I think the only reason I have them going 6-6 is just because of the schedule, man. The schedule's tough, and I think it's tough for a lot of teams, but it's definitely gonna be tough for them. We'll see how it goes though. And there's a lot of unknowns on their team. That's kind of my problem. Not necessarily with some of their more talented guys coming back, Jaden Ball, stuff like that, or players like that. But Aaron Philo, it's just a lot of unknowns. I mean, same thing with the offense. That's really where I'm at. Next we'll go on to Ryan Silverfield over in Arkansas. This is gonna be it's gonna be something, I think. He's probably gonna run a pro style run heavy offense, kind of sort of what he did in Memphis for 6 years. I think it'll be a little bit altered. Obviously, he's gonna have more talent, so you can kind of open the playbook up a little bit. You kind of let it fly a little bit more. Defense though, 3-3-5, 4-2-5, 100%. It'll definitely be based on how other DB room plays this year. Defensively wise, I mean, I think, in my opinion, it could be like one of those defenses where they just kind of apply safe pressure. You know what I mean? Like they rush 3-4 guys and they're getting safe pressure. I mean, you got 5 guys back in coverage, maybe linebackers blitzing or manned up or something like that, and you're just sitting back there and you're trying to generate pressure with your guys. You're betting your guys against their guys, and in the SEC, that's what a lot of teams do. I mean, you're playing with a lot of really, or you're calling plays for a lot of really talented guys. So betting your guys over their guys is not a crazy down by down situational play until it stops, or until it starts going bad. I mean, that's kind of how it goes. But he's an offensive minded coach. Spent 6 seasons in Memphis. Um, he has consistently produced productive offenses, and he's won at a high level in the American all 6 years for the most part. I mean, I think a couple of years up and down, but for the most part, the offense has really been where he's made his name, where he is. I mean, that's kind of where it is. Um, I will say he brings in most of his staff from Memphis. He retained a few pieces from the previous staff at Arkansas. Um, I think he'll probably install a balanced, I would say a little bit up tempo style run heavy offense. I mean, it's just kind of it's going to be about efficiency, limiting mistakes, and running the ball. I mean, 4 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, that's probably what it's going to try to be, just because he knows. No offense to Arkansas fans, but a lot of the times you don't think about Arkansas as like this. Like last year, for instance, they had Taylor Green, immensely talented quarterback, and I think he's going to be. I think he was great last year, and I think he kind of had his career wasted for a certain period of that because they just didn't have the right people calling the plays and the right running game around him. And I don't know. I think that's what they're going to try to get away from, that kind of like mistake driven offense. It seemed like it was. I mean, a lot of turnovers and stuff like that. A lot of turnover on downs. I mean, you can't do that in the SEC and expect to win games. You can't. Um, I have them ranked dead last in the SEC entering the season. A lot of roster turnover. That's the tough thing for me. But I mean, they're getting guys out that weren't that good and bringing guys in that are kind of on the same level, maybe a little bit better. Don't really know who the starting quarterback's going to be yet. I think KJ Jackson is probably the leader to be the starter, but it's still not even confirmed by the staff or anything like that. So there's just a lot of unknowns. I think 16th is fair. I mean, it's dead last in the SEC, but dead last in the SEC, I mean, that's, like I said, you could still be a top 50 team in football and be dead last in the SEC realistically. Maybe not top 50, maybe top 70 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. They have a weaker talent profile, like I said. They don't have a whole lot of returning production. Obviously, Taylor Green went to the NFL. They bring in a 14th ranked transfer portal class and a 15th ranked freshman recruiting class. So you're not looking at a team that's bringing in a lot of talent, whether it's freshmen or whether it's transfers. So I mean, just kind of tough to look at that team and say, hey, they have a chance to really surprise people this year. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they will. I think it'll mean that Silverfield will have to rely on player development a lot, maximizing the talent that he already has there. And I don't think there will be a whole lot of immediate impact to newcomers, I'd say. Freshmen or anything like that. I don't think there'll be a whole lot of guys like that. It'll mostly be veterans, people like that. I think the line of scrimmage play will determine how competitive they can be. And do I see them keeping certain games close but still losing, or keeping some certain games close and then losing by 2 or 3 touchdowns at the end? Possibly, yeah. It's all based on how their line of scrimmage plays, both offensive and defensive. So we'll see how that goes. But he did build a consistent winner in the G5. So I think this is one of those guys. Not a whole lot of expectations for him first year, just because he's not walking into an amazing situation in Fayetteville. He's kind of in one of those things where it's a multi-year rebuild. I think the expectations start for him in year 2, year 3, maybe whenever he starts landing some big-time recruits. That's when the expectations really, really start for him. But we'll see how it goes. I would say SEC is going to be a significant test for them. I have them finishing 3-9, ceiling of 5-7, floor of 2-10. Not really a whole lot to talk about there. I mean, just tough schedule. I mean, like I said, nine game SEC conference schedule. I mean, I don't think they have any super tough games out of conference or anything, but it's just a tough game. I mean, it's a tough pull in the SEC, especially the job that he just took over. I mean, I think, like I said, higher expectations start for him year 2, year 3. Like I said, he's got nothing on the pressure compared to Lane Kiffin has on him. Even I would say for Alex Gola, Sean Summerall. I mean, Pete Golding. I think those are the 4 guys really that have the most pressure on them. Will Stein, I personally think he's gonna outperform a couple of those coaches. Um, but I don't think that those expectations of him outperforming them start this year. I think it's based on how he goes this year, and then you go from there. Alrighty, now I want to take a look at the top 15 games that I'm looking forward to the most in the SEC, as in SEC versus SEC. Doesn't necessarily have to be a home game or an away game for either team. A couple neutral site games on here, but SEC versus SEC, that's all I care about. And then also I try to do it by number one, just talent. Obviously the best team is going to produce most of the time the best games overall, and then obviously like stakes matter a lot. If the game had a higher watchability rating, which is like kind of for me, talented rosters, storylines, atmosphere, high stakes. That's kind of how I made this list, and it's not just games I'm looking forward to. It's games that I think will end up being some of the best games. Like I think in this list of 15, I think I'll end up having the regular season game of the year in the SEC in one of these games. So I wanted to start with 15. We'll work our way down. So at 15, I got LSU at Tennessee. Neyland Stadium at night. End of the year, I imagine the atmosphere will be crazy. I mean, depending on how each of these teams play out, especially Tennessee, they got a lot of unknowns, especially offensively, quarterback wise. I think that'll be something to look at for sure. But if they are both in playoff contention or SC championship contention, this could instantly become a classic. Like instantly, this is going to be a must-watch game. We could have college football game day there for all we really know. I mean, Lane Kiffin returns. Last time it was for Ole Miss. This time it's for LSU. So we'll see if there's. I imagine there's still a lot of animosity there. Who knows how that's gonna go? Last time they were throwing golf balls and everything else at him. And then playoff implications is LSU 9-3 and is Tennessee 10-2 or is Tennessee like you don't know how these teams are gonna end up playing out. And I think this is the second to last game of the year for both these teams. So Tennessee gets Vanderbilt right after this. LSU gets Arkansas right after this. So both of those, this is kind of like the last tough game for each of these teams on the schedule. So depending on how Tennessee is and LSU are, I think it could be a great game. At 14, we got South Carolina and Alabama. Last year, tough way to lose for South Carolina. The year before that as well. I mean, honestly, South Carolina, when they play Alabama, it's a completely different team than most years. I think this is one of those games where it's kind of the urgency of Shane Beamer's job. And for that matter, it honestly could be the opposite way around. It could be Kalen DeBoer's job at that point in time. But if South Carolina walks in there and upsets Alabama, that's huge for Shane Beamer. Especially coming as close as they've came the last 2 seasons to really doing it. That would be great. I mean, that'd be a statement win for sure. Be kind of like a turning point, I'd say. And there's no reason they can't do it. There's plenty of great players on the team. Dylan Stewart, North Sellers. There's plenty of great players on that team. They have the talent to match up with Alabama, in my opinion. Alabama's got a brand new quarterback. Who knows how that's going to go, but we'll see how that goes. I think just based on the history of the last couple of years of it, and then just the unpredictability of it every year, it's awesome. 13, we're going to go Georgia at Ole Miss. A lot of people are probably going to think this game should be a little lower on the list, I should say, as in like probably a top 10 game, maybe. I mean, I can see it happening for sure. I think both these teams have playoff expectations, especially Georgia. I mean, Georgia's got to have playoff expectations, but I think this is a good game because it's a Georgia get back game. It's in Oxford, and they obviously had a tough loss last year in the playoff, which was a classic game right there. But I think this is where Georgia is trying to get it back on the road in Oxford. Pete Golding, first year as head coach. I think Georgia's trying to get it back. They're trying to get Kirby Smart's coming back for seconds. I think he's gonna come back and he's gonna make that game one of the best games. I think it could go either way, honestly, but I think the fact that both these teams have playoff aspirations kind of puts a little bit more pressure on it. Um, I think it's a big opportunity though for Pete Golding. I mean, Pete Golding's 1-0 right now against Kirby Smart. If he goes 2-0 and he beats him in Oxford, I mean, Kirby Smart might find his kryptonite. That's what I think. Next up, 12, Florida at Auburn. Both of these got both these teams have new head coaches. Obviously, like we went over. Huge opportunity, in my opinion, for um, for John Sumrall. Walk in. I mean, this is the first of a. This is the first SEC matchup of a continued rivalry, in my opinion. You have both of these coaches coming from the American. They've both coached against each other. I would imagine they both care about winning this game a lot. They both, I think, have pretty decently talented rosters. Florida's obviously super talented, uber talented. And then Auburn, they definitely have weapons. And I think at this point in the year when they play, it's around mid-season, but at this point in the year when they play, it's going to be a must-win game for both teams, in my opinion. Just because you got tough games before that and you got even tougher games after that, mostly for both these teams. And I think there's something, hopefully it's a night game. I think there's something about Jordan Hare. I mean, like you've probably heard Nick Saban say it's haunted. I mean, I can't disagree with him there. I mean, I've seen it myself. Next I'd go number 11, Missouri at Ole Miss. It's the return of Austin Simmons in Oxford. I think this is a huge get-back opportunity for him. I mean, obviously he comes in last year thinking, hey man, I'm gonna be a starter. Lane Kiffin chose me. All this, whatever, and just a lot of expectations on him, honestly. And he gets injured 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, I mean, if Trinidad Chambliss' last name was Manning, he'd probably be second in Heisman voting last year. I mean, he had that good of a year. I mean, truly, he did. So I feel like you get your spot taken by someone insanely talented. You came from nowhere. Tough situation. That's a tough situation. I mean, everybody knew he was transferring after that. You can't stay there and think you're gonna win that job back. Now you can argue whether you think Trinidad Chambliss should have gotten another year of eligibility, but he did. So I think the fact that it's his return, it's his get back opportunity, and it's a huge opportunity for Eli Drinkwitz to go into Ole Miss and just snag a little road win, get out of there. I mean, I think if both these teams want to make the playoffs, this is a must-win game for each of them. I mean, for Ole Miss, they might view this game as like a trap game. I think for Missouri, they're circling on their calendar, and they're like, especially Austin Simmons, he's circling on the calendar. But I think they're circling on the calendar like we gotta win this game, and I think it could definitely be a potential upset. I mean, I think Missouri's gonna be decent this year. I think Missouri's gonna compete. I mean, I trust Eli Drinkwitz. So I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I don't know. I think for Ole Miss, it's more of a test game. Like, can they survive the pressure? Even though they're at home, I think it's the pressure of Missouri's coming. They're coming to win the game, and for the last couple of years, or the history of Ole Miss, it hasn't really been like that. They've kind of been on the other end of it, where they're the one who kind of feels like the dog, and they're coming in. So I think it'll be a great game. Number 10, I got Alabama LSU. Obviously, super long time rivalry. Usually always produces great games. I mean, you got the Mason Taylor catch or 2-point conversion to beat them in the first year of the Brian Kelly era. Insane game. Watching that one live, ridiculous game. I can think about that. I can think about there's plenty of classic moments. But it's mostly Alabama dominating the series. Just to be 100% honest with you, I mean, but I will say, most likely Death Valley at night. They get them at home, and what I think one of the biggest travesties of the whole SEC 9-game schedule changes and everything like that, one of the biggest mistakes is that these teams don't play next season. after this season right here, it'll play for a whole season unless they meet in the SEC championship or something like that. But I grew up watching this game, so to me, I think winning this game right before a little 1 year break kind of means a little bit more. It kind of means a little bit like, okay, yeah, it's 2 whole years of bragging rights, by the way, over the other fan base. And you can't tell me these guys don't come into contact with each other every day, or not every day, but most of the time. Like you walk around, you see an Alabama fan. I mean, it's a huge fan base. Same thing with LSU. Um, so I think this game matters a little bit more, and I think, I think both will be playoff contenders around this point in the season. It'll be a little. It could be weird with how. Could be weird with how Alabama comes out of the year. I think Keelan Russell, it's a lot's riding on his shoulders, to say the least. Um, Texas at LSU. Most likely, like I said, that's LA night. Kind of great. You got to look at the atmosphere of those games. I mean, also last time these two teams faced off, 2019. Got the Joe Burrow, the third and however long third down touchdown Justin Jefferson. That's what I always think about when I think about that game. But I also think about the before the game, Texas comes out wearing DBU shirts, the real DBU, and all this. And I think there's just a lot of animosity between those two. You're looking at rivalry and recruiting for sure, 100%. And then your border states and whatever else. You got to look at stuff like that. I mean, I feel like this is gonna be one of those games. Both teams are gonna be hungry to win, and I think Texas is just as talented, if not more talented, than LSU. So I think this is one of those games where this is do or die if you want to make the playoffs, especially if you want to get a bye or if you want the best possible outcome of number one, the SEC championship, and then number two, the actual playoffs. I think this is the game. This is a game you have to win if you're either one of these teams. And I think because last time was classic, it should produce another classic again. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, the talent's there. Alrighty. Number 8, Alabama at Tennessee. It's going to be a great game for sure. I think it'll be one of those games that the pressure's going to be on Alabama coming in for sure. I think Tennessee's going to be playing kind of wide open. They don't have a whole lot of expectations this year because of the whole quarterback situation. I don't know who they're going to go. I don't know who they're going to end up going with. And then obviously Alabama's got a tough quarterback battle going on, but I think Keelan Russell's won it out now. But long-time rivals, going to be a great atmosphere. Neyland, maybe at night, most likely at night. Going to be a great atmosphere, and then upset potential. If at this point in the year Tennessee's kind of not like forward their season or anything, but in my opinion, they're still going to be. They might be a one-loss team, maybe. They might be undefeated. Both these teams could be undefeated. Both these teams could be one-loss teams. I think this is an upset spot. I think whoever's favored in this game, it's the other team is going to have an upset chance. And I think that's the beauty of the SEC, and that's the beauty of the rivalries, these long rivalries that have been going on for forever. I think like it's a classic game. It always usually produces great moments. So I think I like that game at 8, and then 7. I'm gonna go with the Cotton Bowl, Texas Oklahoma Red River rivalry. I I it's tough for me to put them at 7. I think it's tough with this 5 through 7 slot right here. It's just tough for me to rank these 3 games for sure. But obviously, history. I mean, huge rivalry. I mean, the only reason I put this one at the bottom is because in the last couple of years, Texas has dominated it for the most part. I mean, they have. Obviously last year, John Mateer with the thumb injury and everything like that kind of mucked the game up and stuff. But I mean, really, this game comes down to when is Oklahoma gonna break the curse? That's to me. That's what I mean. That's what it seems like to me, at least. Um, it's been too long. It's been too long. I think this is gonna be a good game though. I think it should be a classic. I think Oklahoma could have a bad season, but if they win this game, then it doesn't really matter all that much. It's kind of similar to like Michigan, Ohio State, or Alabama, Auburn. You look at those games and you're like, you could go 1-11, but if you win that game, it still means a little something. I mean, you know what I mean? It's kind of like one of those games, but I think that'll be a great game. Obviously, it's in the Cotton Bowl, which I always love. I love watching the games there. And then Florida versus Georgia in Atlanta rivalry game. think it's called the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. I think that's what it's called. Not really 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Obviously, you got the new head coach at Florida. So this is a chance for him, Summerall. If he comes out swinging and he beats Kirby Smart in Atlanta, which is basically a home game for Georgia. I mean, it'll probably be a little bit of both, but basically a home game for Georgia. I think it could be great. I mean, honestly, great for him for sure. I think it's a huge upset spot. I mean, I think it's one of those games where like Kirby's gonna be telling him, "Hey, don't overlook him. Don't overlook him. It's a good team. Good team. Good team." You know, he's right. I mean, but it's gonna be good just because I think if they have their offense figured out by then, it's gonna be a tight game in my opinion. And I like it now because Kirby Smart's kind of in that position that Nick Saban was in for a long time, where he's the head coach that's being hunted. I mean, he is. He's the head coach that is being hunted. I mean, he's the top dog until he's dethroned. It's Kirby Smart. So every time a coach plays against him, first year head coach, second year head coach, whatever it is, they're hunting him for sure. That's a huge win for them. It's a statement win. All right, into the top five. Auburn at Alabama. Now this is a rivalry game, obviously the Iron Bowl, and there's a new head coach, Alex Golesh, but I think this could be one of those games that could end up being meaningless at the end of the year. Not meaningless as in the actual rivalry, but as in playoff implications and stuff like that. It could end up being not that important stakes wise, but then it also could be a playoff, like win and go to the playoff. It really could, or win and go to the championship, SC championship. Who knows? I mean, I always like this game a lot. I think it's probably my favorite rivalry game, just because of the moments that it produces. I mean, I feel like every 5 years you have a moment you're never gonna forget in your life. So that's kind of why I enjoy it a lot. And also, if one of these teams is kind of guaranteed to make playoff with a win, and the other one's kind of their season's they're looking for a bright spot to end the year, this becomes a huge spot for them to kind of make up for a lack of wins the rest of the season. Number 4, Texas at Texas A&M, another rivalry game, and I think one of the best things about this game is that it's at Kyle Field. I think that's gonna make this game insanely fun to watch, just because of the atmosphere. I mean, you have 107,000 people screaming. I mean, that's gonna be a great game. I mean, Texas A&M hates Texas more than a lot of other people, probably, or a lot of other fan bases, I should say. I think that'll be a great game. I think they both have playoff aspirations. I think only one of those teams by the end of the year will maybe be a playoff contender, I should say, or guaranteed to make playoffs or something at that point. But I'm more of a believer in Texas than Texas A&M. But huge upset spot. I mean, like I said, it comes down to that same thing where, hey, Texas A&M might not make the playoff this year. They don't have the same NFL talented roster they had last year. But hey, if we can beat Texas and we can keep the most talented Texas team in years out of the playoff, that's a win. I mean, that's a huge win for Elko. Number 3, top 3. Here we go. Georgia at Alabama. I think it's just always a good game, good classic game. I struggled with this game a lot just because I don't know if I think Kirby's a level above the board. I think that's you can confidently say that now. As in, for a while there, I kind of thought DeBoer there was more to him. There was stuff we were missing, or stuff that we were gonna end up finding out, but just not yet. And so I think it's that time where it's just, I don't know, man. I think it could be a really good game, but I think it being at Alabama gives DeBoer a good advantage he's gonna need, I think. But have super high expectations. I mean, those fan bases expect playoffs every year. So, I mean, if DeBoer's fighting for his job, if he's having a rough season, that's gonna be one of those games where it's like, gotta man up, gotta put the big boy britches on and win the game. Number 2, Georgia at Texas. I mean, I don't want to say most likely, but this could be, like, right now, this is the projected SEC championship preview. So, like, I mean, like I said, I think these are the 2 most talented rosters in the SEC. I think it being at Texas is going to be crazy, insane atmosphere. I mean, that place is going to be rocking. Most likely at night. Going to be the atmosphere is going to be unmatched. I mean, especially if both these teams are undefeated when they're playing each other, which I imagine they are, both undefeated. I mean, that's gonna instantly be one of the greatest games of the season. Especially with what happened last year and the way that Texas lost to Georgia last year between the hedges. I think there's no way it's not another moment like that where, and also it's year two of Arch Manning, and I think this is a win for him. That if he gets this win, I mean, he's already gonna be on the draft boards because of his last name, but I mean, he's gonna go up even higher with this win. He's gonna really prove something to those Texas fans. And this is the other thing. Last year, Arch Manning struggled on the road. I mean, he struggled for real. I mean, granted, he's young. He's first year starting and everything like that, and he played a lot better at home last year. Well, he's playing this game at home, so there's no real excuses for him. Number one, I think there's not a whole lot a lot of it goes said already. Number one, LSU Ole Miss. Tough trip to Oxford for Lane Kiffin and the fellas. But I think that it's going to be a great game. I think there's not enough protection in the world for Lane Kiffin in this game. I mean, he's going to have presidential escorts for sure. I mean, this is insane. I mean, you want to talk about an entire school, an entire fan base. I mean, it's going to be, if you thought Tennessee was bad, Tennessee's going to look like a walk in the park compared to what they're going to be yelling, screaming, doing to Lane Kiffin, for sure. It's not even, I mean, it's a given. I mean, he knows it when he's going in. Everybody else knows it. I mean, there's nothing they can do to stop it. I mean, you're going to find people, kick people out. I mean, dude, that's going to be it's going to be a classic. I think it's probably going to be game of the year in all of college football, regular season-wise. But it's going to be something for sure. I mean, I see it as a potential game of the year just because of all the build-up. I mean, all this stuff happened off season. He leaves them. They go to the playoff run, whatever. But at the end of the day, he chose LSU, which Ole Miss fans, I mean, that's their rival. I mean, you're gonna take that sourly. I mean, it's not gonna leave a good taste in your mouth whatsoever. So we'll see how it goes. And they're already rivals, so they already hate each other enough. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. Alrighty, that was the top 15 games I'm looking forward to. Now I want to get into. I don't have enough time really before the season. We got 40 days. I don't have enough time before the season to really go through all the G5 teams and all the teams that really excite me out of the G5 and stuff like that. So the way that I thought I'd do it is I got a wheel on my phone of all the G5 teams. I spun it and I landed on Kent State. So I did a little deep dive on Kent State. I'm going to be doing one of these every episode. A little deep dive on Kent State though. But if you watch college football, you probably know 2024 they finished 0-12. Just, I mean, awful. I mean, terrible. But this is the thing I'll say though. Last year they improved, and they also hired Mark Carney, I think his name is. Yeah, Mark Carney. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Mark Carney. And last year they finished 5-7 overall. Definitely a lot better than winless the season before that. So 5 wins. That in my opinion, that's a huge turnaround for a program. I mean, you go winless and you turn around and win 5 games. I mean, even in the MAC. I mean, the MAC's not a terrible conference whatsoever, especially in the G5 level. But I mean, it's impressive. It really is. And he also went 4-4 in conference play. So I mean, you're telling me you're 500 in conference play and you're 5-7 after going winless. I mean, I think that's a big improvement, and I don't understand why he can't improve on that even more this year. Um, Last season they had the 115th ranked scoring offense and 128th ranked total defense. So not great on either side, but definitely more issues on defense than more issues on offense. But I think that kind of might flip flop a little this year. They return their quarterback Drew Shields. He's kind of a dog. He's kind of one of those stories of college football that kind of goes unnoticed because he plays for Kent State. But if you don't know about this kid, you should look him up or look at some of his highlights or something like that. I mean, the kid tore the same ACL 3 times back to back to back. I mean, that's unheard of, I feel like. And especially the fact that he's still playing. I mean, that happens to a lot of other people. I mean, they got the LinkedIn profile made and ready to go. I mean, that's ridiculous perseverance out of the kid. But I think it might be a flip-flop. I think it might be more struggles on the defensive side, then it's tough to say, but there's going to be more struggles on the defensive side to start the year. But long term, for the whole season, it's going to be offense that's going to be hurting them the most. They lost their two best wide receivers, two of their most productive players, and then they also lost a couple guys to like graduation and stuff. And the other thing about the Shields is that the Shields he medically redshirted 23 and 24, so he's a little bit older for a sophomore quarterback. Like I think he's the age of a senior as a sophomore because of the eligibility rules and him tearing his ACL 3 times. I mean, that's ridiculous, but it definitely probably is an advantage. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but I left off talking about Kent State and Drew Shields, and I mentioned his ACL problems and his health over those 3 years. And the good thing about him that I think stands out when you look at other quarterbacks in the MAC is he was third in yards per completion last year. He was 31st in the nation in passing efficiency. So I think it's a guy who has the talent to take Kent State where they want to go this year. But it just means a lot hinges on him and his health. So there's a lot of volatility when it comes to stuff like that. I think one thing that people don't think of is that even when you lose weapons to the portal like Kent State did, if you bring in protection for him and allow him to kind of find his own way to make those plays and replace those guys with his throws and with the guys that he ends up liking throughout the season, I think that's a big that'll be a big thing that either makes them play better throughout the year, or it could cause a massive fall off if he gets injured or if one of his weapons gets injured. So I think it's just something to look for. Like if you see that he's playing a team that allows a lot passing, then I think that right there that signified a win for me. So like when I looked at all these teams that are on their schedule, it was hard for me to see them really. I couldn't really see them winning more than like 8 games. So for that reason, I'm gonna have their ceiling at 8-4. I think they'll probably go like something like 6-6, most likely. I mean, I know they'll play a few one possession games in the MAC just because of the way the conference is panning out talent wise. I think they'll play at least 4 or 5 games that are one possession games in conference. But it is still a tough schedule for the MAC. 3-4, 3-9 floor. And it'll come down to really how the defense plays. Veteran safety Cordoba, I think he'll be a vital role on the team, and I think because he's their leading returning tackler, and I think that because he decided to come back to Kent State, I think that says a lot about the program, and I think that'll be a big reason that they end up having success this year if they do have success, especially later on in the year. Most of these defensive guys, they get better as the year goes on, the more offenses they see, and the more reps they get. So yeah, that's my deep dive on Kent State. Please let me know what I can do to make this better and make it more enjoyable for the listener. I'm getting better at it, but we'll see how time goes on. For now, this is Kyle Trantham. This is Still Smoking Tape, and thank you for watching.